Welcome back to the channel. I'm well into a brilliant session out with Zeus. The problem I've got when I'm out on my own, obviously Elsie can't help me here, no technology for her, is unless I've got a GoPro, which I haven't, and a drone, which I really wanted, but it's not going to happen this year, I don't think. There's no way I can spot game getting up, slip the hood off, which is on my little finger there, get the phone out of my pocket, start recording, and so on. It's just impossible. So it's going to be a little bit of narration, storytelling, I think, this session. Hopefully the boys have sent me enough to make this video. If you are watching it, I'm going to do a welly review, talk about my woes with wellies and see what you guys get up to in that department. Yeah, and a couple of reviews as normal. I'm puffed out, I can't even speak. Enjoy the rest of the video. The dog's tried to creep off. She doesn't think I know she's doing it. Elsie. They're so naughty sometimes. Enjoy the rest of the video. Let's see what we see. I don't know what we're going to see, and I'm hoping the boys can get me some footage from their outings. Enjoy. Zeus is really on fire today. We've just had a really good slip from this high cover. I mean, this is, I don't know, neck high on me. Really good slip. And the hare had about 12 feet to get out onto the open ground here. So it really bought the hare. I couldn't see him, but I could hear him wrestling away. And I just caught a flash of him. Slipped Zeus. And by the time Zeus sort of got to the edge of the cover, the hare was off up the hill, of course. But it had just got going, if you like, and Zeus had only just got going, but it was quite near, which for Zeus is unusual. He's normally having to take on long slips. So he hot pursuit, and it was quite interesting actually. We just had a fantastic course. The hare turned sideways across the hill because it was under so much pressure instead of carrying on up the hill. And we had three left, right kind of maneuvers, right close, but the hares again, they had dynamite here. And then he did turn up to the hill, and it was like a slow race. Even the hare was tiring, and the eagle gradually lost ground and landed. Me being lower down, the recoil was really good because for Zeus, he could fly downhill to a little betching on the glove. Much to my disgust, straight over the top of me, because Elsie was sniffing the hare's form back in the cover. So for the eagle, just a bit of fur moving, he went straight over the top, pulled up, swung over in the air, vertical dive, got poor Elsie right round the jowls, both feet, which has never happened since the first sort of week we tried them together years ago. Luckily, she's a bonehead. Never seems to, nothing came of it then and nothing came of it today, but obviously you've got a fired up eagle. Now, of course, you can't reward your eagle to trade it off of your dog with a bit of food thrown to the side or pick up to the glove, because obviously you've kind of said to the eagle, if you can catch your dog, you get a reward. So that's not possible. You do have to very quickly take hold of both legs and unlock those talons and pull the eagle up and away. So many eagle falconers don't seem to realise that you can do this. So many falconers don't seem to realise you can do this. And if you discuss it, some of them poo-poo the idea, which is ludicrous. Even a big eagle like Zeus, you can grab him round what we would call his knee joints. They're not, but around the main leg joint. And you can straighten those out, which then releases all the grip on the talons, and you can simply pull the eagle up and free, much to the dog's happiness. Elsie's a bit of a bonehead, and despite some rather loud yelping, back to normal the second she's free, bless her. It is a worry, because of course the eagle just sees he's missed a slip, he's put a lot of effort in, his adrenaline's fired up, and then him to come downhill and see something furry moving around in sort of neck high grassland here. Yeah, easy accident to make. And to be honest, as much as an accident as the eagle frustrated, probably thinking he'll do just fine, who knows. But for sure, that's something I'll have to try and show you in another video for all you falconers out there, because even a Harris's hawk that's maybe accidentally grabbed your hand, it's kind of easy to get it off if you know how. And even a Harris hawk is excruciatingly painful, as you guys probably know, let alone something this size. Anyway, he is absolutely on form. We've seen a lot of hares, and we've had 3 or 4 in appropriate places for a good bit of action. Let's see if we can see anything else. Don't do that again. I think because this week's journal is quite wordy. I hope you've enjoyed some of the footage and the scenery and seeing the eagle, but it has become a bit of a storytelling. I didn't get much footage. It's been foggy all week, so the boys haven't been out at night. So I'm not going to do a book review or a YouTube review, but I am going to quickly discuss with you wellies, really quickly. The last 2 lots of wellies I brought have been over £300 each, yeah, before all the crises and things, and 1 pair was a present. Over £300, I expect 3 years of hard use for that money, and it still makes them expensive. But if they're quality, they're warm, they're rugged, money well spent, but they've got to last me 3 falconry seasons and 3 years in between of regular use, because we wear our wellies a lot in this job. Let me down really bad. The chamois, the first pair, the sole's worn quite thin. I thought, I've worn them out, that's fair enough. But this pair, they've not even split in the normal place. They've split along the bottom edge, both of them, and they're only into their 2nd year, and I think that's pretty poor for something you're spending £300 on. So straight away, I'll never buy those again. I consider that a rip-off. They live in my van, they're clean most of the time, they don't live in the sunshine and get perished. Now, interestingly, Jackie got brought a pair of branded Jules welly bobs for her birthday. They're a few months old, they've only just gone into winter, and they've already split and perished in the classic place. And that's the place where most of my wellies perish. And yet, the recent pair of chamois, they've actually split across the whole sole, which is poor indeed. So I've changed. I've spent far less. Have a look at these. Brought a pair of eagle, French for eagle, very apt indeed. Just a basic pair. So the chamois I love because they were zipped up. They had a neoprene warm lining. These are thin. They're not too tight, but they're not as easy to get on and off without having a zip in them. They're not tight. They get off easy. They're not gripping me here, but they are very much more supportive here. They're better fit. I've worn them and done a few miles on the first day, and I have to tell you, perfectly comfy. Ordinary pair of socks under there, like I usually wear. They are actually, I can feel the cold. I'm going to need some thicker socks under these on a really cold down snow or something. But yeah, eagle wellies. Now I know a lot of you guys wear decent quality country boots or hunting boots that you lace up at the front and they're fully waterproof up to here. Everyone tells me they're brilliant and comfortable. They're no good to me. I'm wearing wellies on and off far too often. I need wellies because I can just slip them on and off in a second. I can't be doing with 15 minutes of lacing or unlacing boots. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, what wellies you're using, but I'm actually coming fast to the conclusion that the 20 quid pair of Dunlop wellies, a 20 quid pair of Dunlop wellies, wore for a season and thrown away, is actually going to be almost as good. No branding, but cost effective, common sense. What do you guys think? The dog's just disappeared and found a point in a pheasant and let her flush it. So how does the dog work on hares with the eagle? They're very, very different. Game birds, very strong smell. It's sort of bred into these dogs to smell them, isn't it? Not so with hares. A hare tight in its form seems to give off almost no scent, which is, you can understand why. So really her job, Elsie's job, is to work on the whistle, working left, right, at distances of hundreds of yards in front of me or below me on a slope. And really, she's doing no more than an incredibly fit, sort of fast-moving human would. Very rarely does she find a point on a hare. She's literally covering ground, and just like me walking and the hare getting nervous as I approach and bumping up and running, come here or I'll catch you with an eagle, come here. She'll literally bump them up. She'll just by chance really run in the direction of where they are, and she'll get so close, often nose close, that the hare will bump up and run. So very different from working sort of to a point, and then flushing a pheasant or a partridge as you slip your goshawk, for instance. It's not effective like that at all. It really is a case of just getting her to on the whistle and using her own brain and her nose really, but to quarter the ground left and right, long range as well. And of course that means the recoil has to be spot on. You can't have a dog working 200 yards away down a hill or downwind that doesn't recoil incredibly well, because at that range many a dog will suddenly decide it can't hear very well and get up to who knows what, and you know, possibly disappear or get into trouble. So that's her job. It's not a science of sniffing out the hairs, pointing them and flushing them, not at all. It's just another pair of legs, or maybe two pairs of legs on the ground randomly bumping up hairs. The payment was pretty poor today for trying hard, wasn't it? But we're still at it. Let's see what we get. Good girl. GoPro. I just flushed a fox from there, and it's ran all the way across to that gap in the middle of the screen there. Oh, very completely blindsided to Zeus because we were behind there, so I didn't see it until it was sort of making its way. Bless him. Whew. He was probably here. He was probably, it looked like 2 yards behind it by the time it made cover, but from this angle, I'd say a bit more for what it is doing. No success today, but the bird's on fire and he's getting sit. He's getting sit. He's getting plenty of exercise, and that's what it's all about at the moment for me. Getting this bird back up in the air after me not flying him really for 2 seasons and Kyle flying him last year. He hit it. Oh, what a lad. Hit it again. As I've said before in these Falconry journals, I don't see the need personally to put lots of images of hawks and their kills and their prey and so on the channel. There's no point. Social media's flooded with it. Some of it I think is unnecessary and so on. So that's not why I practice falconry, to see all these images. It's to see quality flights of the birds for sure. And of course, I want my bird to catch something to reward it for its immense efforts, just like in the natural world. Of course we do. But this next image, I've put it on here, kind of going against the grain a bit of what I've already said, because it really sums up what a bird of prey is. Loads of birds hunt other animals, even the little blue tits in your garden. They're murdering green caterpillars all through the spring to feed to their children. But all those other birds have a specially designed beak to catch their main prey species. So a heron has got a spear and so on. but they can't tackle very big prey. So yeah, heron and a pelican, they can actually swallow whole obscenely large animals, but it still pales into insignificance to what the raptors can actually take down for their tea. So the difference is, of course, as you falconers know, raptors are eating with their beak in general, and in general, they're killing with immensely powerful feet and legs, armed with huge claws that we kind of call talons, or we now tend to call talons. So I just think this image of Zara sums up the power, the utter power of a falconry bird, of a bird of prey. This bird is now hunting at over 2.5 pounds in weight. Pretty big nowadays for a female Harris's hawk. The hares that they hunt on our local area average around 8 pounds. 7.5 is a little bit on the small side, 8.5 a reasonable size, but they run up to 13.5 pounds. This hare is 8.5 pounds in weight. The bird's 2.5 pounds. Now, it's not like it's catching an animal that can't do anything, so it doesn't matter how big it is. A Harris's hawk is set up with really powerful feet and legs. It's a bird of prey with great prowess just by its design of nature. But the hare, capable of hitting 46 miles an hour, let alone all the manoeuvres and tricks up its sleeve to evade capture. If it does get captured, regardless of that, it's 8.5 pounds of complete muscle. Its cardio system is immense. It's totally toned. Has the capability of breaking the bird's rib cage, and it has the capability, if you're very unlucky, of killing your bird outright. It doesn't just give in. And yet Zara has taken a hare every single outing this season that that hares have been the quarry. Every single time. And it really sums up what a bird of prey is capable of. I think this picture just tells a tale, because even though the hawk looks big, it's made of a lightweight frame. It's 2.5 pounds versus 8.5 pound athlete, a powerhouse. It's like me running down a wild horse, jumping on it round its neck, dragging it down and subduing it. And that, I think that picture is worthy just to sum up the difference between a bird of prey and all the other birds that prey on animals. Absolute machines. Plenty of red kites around, still quite a lot of buzzards. But just discussing with a keeper, will the numbers reduce once these buzzards and kites are feeding on dead water birds, dropping in the fields, which they are? Is it going to have a big knock-on effect to these sort of scavenging birds? Who knows? It's had a fantastic slip with the eagle on this level ground. Really good long slip, and you know, touched it with his toe at the end. The hares, they've just got the moves over here. They really have. Good effort. Good to see the eagle flying well, and good to see him, which I really dislike because I have to go and get him with this bird. But good to see him getting up and really chasing, even when the hare's made up hundreds of yards distance. The dog's having a whale of a time because I'm not whistling at her at the moment. Let's crack on a bit further. A lovely day to be out. It really is. It's very still. It's just a slight breeze. 9 degrees. I've only got 2 thin layers on. I've learnt my lesson. And the landscape, beautiful and pastel shades. Come on. I need a whistle in my mouth. Well, back to the van. Any falconer knows when they have a day where their hawk is on fire and pulling out all the stops, excuse me, and doesn't manage to take its prize, you know that sinking feeling when your bird has really worked so hard to earn itself a darn good feed. But today, the quarry, it had all the moves, and even though it's sometimes just a millimetre or two, if it evades those talons, however big they are, fair play. So a cold rat for Zeus. In fact, he's going to get a frozen rat, which occasionally is really good for his beak, which is getting a little bit long. And a frozen rat works like a really hard tie ring and keeps his beak in trim. Stay tuned. please subscribe. See you in the next one.